Hey, this is Glendon with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions. Title of this video, How to Make Money, the Hustler's Mindset. There's been a lot of chatter on the internet and other places about changing shifts, changing paradigms, how things are changing and how people wish things go back to the way they used to be. It's not going to happen. And it prompted me to do this video because there are people out there who view themselves as, entrepreneurs, hustlers, folks who know how to improvise. And what I'm seeing is not so much of that. I'm seeing a lot of whining and bitching and moaning about, hey, how hard things are. I want you to understand, we are in depression number 2. That's where we are. Make no mistake about it. If you look at your friends, and if you just do a quick study on the Great Depression, what happened? First, there was a period of deflation. Then the money supply just contracted. And if you do your research, you'll see that what happened before the Great Depression is now what's happening right now, especially with the money supply. And look at it, everything's dirt cheap. You can get a computer now brand new for $600 that 3 years ago would have cost you $1,800. Only things that are going up are commodities, gas, food, things that you need, essential stuff. That's what's going up, and there's some manipulation with that. But essentially, I'm going to give you a few rules of how to be a hustler. And it's more of a mental thing than a physical thing. It doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter about your education level. It's all about how you think. And you really have to step back. And the number one rule of being a hustler is you will manage your money or your money will manage you. That's the number one rule, because there are many people that think that, I need a high income. If you're blowing whatever you make now, if you suddenly accelerate to a higher income, you're going to blow that money also. It's just the reality of it. So number one, manage your money or your money's going to manage you. Number two, it's not what's happening in the world, it's what's happening in your inner world that matters. There are several people that I have found on YouTube over the years that truly are great examples of the hustler mindset. They innovate. This isn't working. They make changes because there's something that's really cataclysmic that's about to happen to the American economy in the next 2 years. It's like, it already sucks. It's going to even suck worse because there's a lot of financial manipulation. There's a lot of government policies that are built in place to essentially prop this limp thing up. And it's getting to the point where all those Band-Aid fixes, all those quick fixes, they're losing their effectiveness, and one day they're not going to work at all, and what's going to happen is what's going to happen. So if you're in a tremendous amount of debt, if you're in a position where you're extremely leveraged, or you're in a position where your skill sets are few to none, you may be in a lot of trouble. Understand, once again, going back to the Great Depression, do your research. Look at the businesses that did well during the Great Depression. Wells Fargo, great example. Wells Fargo, due to the fact that all these other banks were failing and they actually grew. And understand, during the bank bailout, Wells Fargo was nowhere near that. They didn't have any bailout money because they run a really conservative portfolio and they don't do all this dumb stuff. Understand, because things are going bad, that does not mean that you can't be successful. That's part of the hustler mindset. Doesn't matter what's going on. I'll take myself. I actually shut down my business to follow my dream, and I understand there are many people that think I'm full of shit. I know, I get it all the time. It's like, Glendon, the only reason you're selling your book and you're selling that information is because it's no longer applicable. I can't do it. And then, followed up by that madness, I get an email. I bought the book. Oh my God. I went out and I had $500 and I bought 3 units and I made $1,500, and thank you for the book, because if it wasn't for the book, I wouldn't have even went out. And I'm just like looking at this, every day it's like this yin and yang of stuff. It's like, then it hit me. Why am I getting these emails? There are 2 groups of people that buy my book. There are folks who know they're going to make money, and there are folks who hope to make money. Once again, the hustler mindset. I don't really care what goes on in the economy. I'm going to make money. That's just my reality. Last month, there was a lot of stuff that was going on personally, and I actually have not been around. And I looked in my accounts, and I haven't worked. I haven't done anything. I've got to send out a bunch of emails and get back in the group. But my income this month was actually higher than it was last month. Hate me because I'm making money. Go right ahead. I don't care. But that's the reality. As a hustler, as someone that understands buying and selling, how the economy works, what people want, what they don't want, regardless of what's going on, I can make money sitting on my ass, doing absolutely nothing, contemplating the meaning of life. So that's the deal I give you. Because I will tell you straight up, if I can't make money for myself, you shouldn't listen to me. If I can't go into another market, because that's one of the things that I teach people. This is how you go ahead and do something you've never done before and actually make money. That's the goal. And I get tons and tons of testimonials. It's like, wow, I had a garage sale. Last garage sale I had, we made $150. This garage sale, we made $750. We still had a lot of stuff. We're going to actually do it again next weekend. It's like, thanks for the book. I actually loaned it to my sister. I should have made her buy a copy. I'm like, cool, that's all cool, because I love to get those emails that, hey, this little book helped me make some money. That's cool stuff. But back to the hustler mindset. I'm going to actually break this down in a few different videos, because we're going to stick with the number one rule. Manage your money, or your money will manage you. That is rule number one, because I don't care how lucky you may become. I don't care if you buy a great unit. I don't care if you find something that makes you a lot of money. If you blow your money as a habit, regardless of what money that comes in your life, it's going to be the same result. It's just going to be the same result. So manage your money, or your money's going to manage you. Now, this is how you know if your money's managing you. You are waiting on payday like a crackhead is waiting on a rock on the corner. Your money's managing you. That means you have no reserve. You have no savings. You have nada. Zilch. Now, there was an article a few weeks ago that spoke to the fact that 50% of Americans would be hard-pressed to raise $2,000 cash within 30 days unless they sold some assets, sold something at their house. And there were many people who did not even have stuff that they could sell to raise the $2,000. Over half the country is in that position, because we live in a culture where we're taught to allow our money to manage us. Spend, 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 spend. There's not a lot of emphasis on save, save, save. Let me give you a great example of a couple that I know that manage their money. Both of them are service workers. Met him when I worked at Northside Hospital. Real nice guy. He might be making $32,000, $33,000 a year now, and his wife is making the equivalent. So we're talking about between them $60-something thousand. Now understand, they weren't making that 10 years ago. Actually, almost 20 years ago when I met him. When I met him, he owned 2 houses outright. Two houses outright. Now, back then that was like, whoa, you own 2 houses. That's wealth. And he was still working the job. And I recently talked to him, and now he owns 6 houses, and he's planning on buying 4 in the next year because they're so cheap. Now, how did this man and his wife, who only make like $66,000 a year, now actually are doing this? Because they manage their money. This is what they've done from day one. They've lived on one income. And, let's just do the math. You make it $25,000, you pay your taxes, that's 18 to 20 grand. What they would do is they live on one income, and every 2 years they would buy a rental property. And, what happened was they kept their jobs and got to the point that the rental income was getting to the point where they could take the rental income and buy more property and buy more property. And the thing is, and this guy does not have a college degree. He's a smart guy, but if you talk to him, you will not grasp his smartness because he doesn't talk a lot. But the whole point is, this guy and his wife, on a very limited amount of money, have done some remarkable stuff because they're managed their money. Now, he goes to his job driving his Mercedes, which is paid for. Understand, in a few years when he retires, he is set because none of these properties have a mortgage. So, he told me, he's like, I have no intention of ever selling these properties. They're going to be for my kids. He doesn't care what the price of real estate is in terms of selling because he's not selling. He only cares about getting it at a great deal so he can rent it. Do you understand what I'm telling you? A man who does not have a college degree is actually making far more money than most college graduates because they manage their money. Now that's the deal. And if you don't know how to do it, I'm going to do some videos on this because no one said, hey, you need to really manage your money. You need to save first, then buy. We live in a culture that preaches buy on credit, buy on time, then pay for it over years, or free interest or no interest. All that stuff is a trap. Very few people that take advantage of the no money down, no interest, actually complete that deal before the interest kicks in. Very few people. That's one of the reasons that they do it, because they know a large percentage of the people, roughly 75%, will actually end up paying interest. A lot of interest. And that's how they make their money. All right, well, this is the first installment. There'll be more. There'll be a lot more. All right, this is Glendon with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions.